Shalom, Israel. Most High Christ bless. I'm Captain Gadda to my right.
So did Josiah.
And you are tuned into 15 Minutes with a Captain. Hey, so today's class is called Farming While Black. I know y'all heard about the brother, what's the brother name again?
Courtney Mallory.
Courtney Mallory out here in Denver, Colorado, about what's going down with his farm, what's going on with his livestock, what's going on with his legal team, what's going down with him, period. So let's get right into it. We're going to put an article real quick.
The Ark Republic, Declaration of Independence, Black Farmers Index. Get out. I stood naked with my shotgun. Black ranchers say white residents terrorized their Colorado farm to push them off their land.
So you telling me it's still black oppression in 2023? See, the world think that just the South is being oppressed.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you something. Out here in the Midwest, what is this, Midwest? Out here in the Midwest, it's going down as well. These brothers over here is getting their behinds terrorized. Right. Go back to the article.
This is the second part of a two-part story about a couple's experiences with racism and domestic terror in a small rural part of El Paso County, Colorado. Locals call them the blacks or those niggers.
Hold that. Give me Deuteronomy 28. You already know what I want.
37.
Yep. They said locals call them the blacks.
Right.
Those niggers. Watch this. Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment.
God says, because of our disobedience, we was going to become an astonishment. Read on.
A proverb.
A proverb.
And a byword.
And a byword. Those niggers. Those blacks. God says you're going to become a byword. Brother Courtney, you are an Israelite. You and your wife are Israelites.
That's right.
And it's proven to you that you are Israelites by your oppression you're going through right now. Go back to the article.
Locals call them the blacks or those niggers who live down the road. Townspeople know when they are by Courtney and Nicole Mallory's 1,000-acre ranch in El Paso County, Colorado, by the flags flown for 2 miles.
Watch this.
The U.S. Marine Corps.
This brother's a Marine.
Jesus is king.
He believes in Jesus Christ.
And Black Lives Matter.
And he believes that Black Lives Matter. Keep the article on. So this brother has risked his life for this country. And also he believes in his white man's God. And he believes in Black Lives Matter. So he's playing both sides of the fence. And what do Esau do in Colorado? They terrorize him. Call them niggas. Go down to where it shows him helping them. But little they know that this brother did everything he could to help these filthy Edomites while COVID was going on. Is there an article to it? Got to read it. Yeah. No, go down. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Ironically, it was Courtney and Nicole who provided food to the same poor residents.
The same filthy, dirty Edomites.
In the rural community during the global pandemic.
During COVID-19, they was giving out food to these filthy animals. They was giving animal food to animals. Go ahead.
In particular, rural communities were hit hardest and saw a grave spike in food insecurity. People were dying disproportionately during COVID who didn't have healthy food, said Courtney.
Courtney said people were dying. He was talking about white folks. White folks was dying. El Paso is a white community. It's a white county.
Same thing Gad did.
There you go. Same thing Gad did. Help the white folks.
Right.
And what they did, give them smallpox, kill them by the millions.
Right.
Go down. Before the pandemic. Oh, you got.
Before the pandemic, 1 in 10 Coloradans were unsure on a daily basis if and what they would eat. A stalwart Christian couple, the Mallories,
saw a need to feed. See, you see what Christianity do to you? Christianity said, feed the homeless, feed the needy, feed your oppressors, turn the other cheek. Let's get to the scriptures. Give me Deuteronomy 28:15. What we're going to come to realize, the USDA meat industry, the farming industry, is built off of racism. The whole pot got to be washed out. It's built off of racism. Black farmers have been oppressed since the abolishment of slavery. What happened to our 40 acres and a mule? 40 acres is equivalent to money, to wealth, to crops, to animals, to livestock. That's what 40 acres were equivalent to. But did we ever get it? Nope. You know, they said if black folks would have got their 40 acres, every black person in America would be wealthy. Generational wealth. Because that's what land brought to you. It brought wealth. And with wealth, now you can leave an inheritance. You have a say-so in the society. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15.
Go ahead.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Come on.
To observe.
To
do all his commandments.
God says we got to do the commandments. Read on.
And his statutes,
Read.
which I command thee this day, that all these curses.
See, that's what we got to understand. We cursed as a people. God says in all things we was going to be cursed.
Right.
Even if you have your own land, you cursed. Even if you got your own business, you cursed. You can have everything. You could be off grid. And Esau will find a way to oppress you still. Because you can't run from the curses. Christianity don't teach that. Read on.
That all these curses shall come upon thee.
Read.
And overtake thee.
And overtake thee. Jump to verse 33.
Verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors.
Come on.
Shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
God says the fruit of thy land and all of your labors shall a nation eat up. You labored. You grew them crops. You raised them cattle. But God says another nation was going to eat them up. Read on. Is that it?
No, sir.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt be only oppressed.
God says you're going to be oppressed. Come on.
And crushed always.
And crushed always. Give me the YouTube. Black rancher claims harassment. God says you're going to be only oppressed and crushed always. Watch this.
Fox 31 trying to get to the bottom of a viral controversy in El Paso County involving a black rancher claiming to be terrorized by his white neighbors and others in the...
Stop. Claiming. A black rancher claiming to be terrorized by his white... Just run the bell. Watch what I'm telling you, man. The verbiage. The verbiage lets you know they're already on the white man's side. Watch this. Run it back. Play it again.
Tonight, Fox 31 trying to get to the bottom of a viral controversy in El Paso County involving a black rancher claiming to be terrorized by his white neighbors and others in the predominantly white neighborhood.
The allegations involve trespassing, vandalism, racial slurs, brandishing weapons, and animal cruelty. And the story taking another twist yesterday when that rancher was arrested.
Fox 31's Talia Cunningham's been working this story for weeks now. Joins us now with what she's been learning from both sides tonight. Talia.
Well, Erica, Jeremy, Courtney Mallory and his wife Nicole were displaced in Hurricane Harvey, moving to El Paso County to start a new life. So their American dream quickly turned into a nightmare for them, telling me they've been harassed, chased, had their animals mutilated, and even more. Things escalating in recent weeks as they become more vocal online. So I talked to Courtney about 3 weeks ago before he was arrested, and he told me that he feared for his life. Now, we do want to warn you at home that some of this content may be considered graphic.
I'm being arrested.
Early Monday morning, Courtney Mallory was taken into custody.
Farming while black in America.
The rancher's story, one that's taken over social media.
We don't want to become a hashtag.
Nicole, a Marine, and her husband bought Freedom Acres Ranch in 2020. The couple claiming they face repeated acts of domestic terrorism by white residents on their own property. They say their dogs have been poisoned. Numerous farm animals have been slaughtered and gutted. Residents have been trespassing on their land, running over fence posts, burning their Black Lives Matter flags, spray painting racial slurs on their land, even waving guns at them. Photos show unknown vehicles blocking the couple's property and parking on their land. Even social media posts inquiring about pitchforks
Pause it. Are there any restrictions on signs of pitchforks or fire sticks in Colorado? Asking for a friend. Keep going.
Fire sticks.
Lynching us, bringing a lynching mob, having a public hanging, fire. They wanted to lock us in and set us ablaze.
Mallory said they've called the sheriff's office countless times over the last 2 years, but have gotten no action or thorough investigations.
It is in fact El Paso County Sheriff's Office that is the main reason that we do not feel safe on our property.
The sheriff's office says they've investigated 19 different complaints and have responded to over 170 calls for service at Freedom Acres. In a statement, they claim the office vehemently denies all these allegations.
We're watching. The world is watching. Get it right.
Now a coalition pushing for social justice and the couple's safety, including the NAACP.
That's ridiculous. At the end of the day, law enforcement should show up for everyone.
The National Association of Real Estate Brokers.
This is a direct violation of the Fair Housing Act.
And the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Colorado Holiday Commission.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Courtney was arrested yesterday, charged with stalking, petty theft, and tampering with the utility meter. His wife charged with the same crimes. Now she paid a $2,000 bond and was released. However, Courtney was not.
It looks like a bait and switch.
Activists and concerned citizens demanding answers last night, gathering at the detention center, conducting their own welfare check. Courtney appeared before a judge today, and his bond was increased to $6,000 and was paid for by the NAACP. He should be out of jail at this hour. And actually just received a text. Courtney is in fact out of jail tonight. We've also learned that his neighbor was arrested last year for violating a restraining order that he took out against her. And surprisingly, those same neighbors filed a restraining order this morning against Courtney. There's a lot of ongoing and previous protective orders out at this time.
How you gonna file a restraining order against somebody that owns 100 acres of land? How? I'm not bothering you. You own my land. How is that even possible?
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7.
Come on.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
God says oppression maketh a wise man mad. That's why you see we doing these videos. That's why we bringing this to light. That's why we putting our 2 cents in, which is God's sense. Not nonsense, but God sense. That's why we doing this, because we mad.
Right.
We oppressed as a people. The brother and his wife got their own land with their own business. Why does this white man think that he has the authority to impose himself on someone else's land? They've been doing that for centuries. They did it to Gad, the so-called Native Indians. They did it to Issachar, the so-called Mexicans. They did it to Simeon, the so-called Dominicans. They did it to Levi, the so-called Haitians. They did it to the Guatemala, the so-called Zebulon, you know what I mean? They did it to Zebulon, the so-called Guatemalans. They did it to Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Ricans. Same tactics. Read that again.
The book of Ecclesiastes.
Now I'm mad.
Yes, sir. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7.
Read.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
God says oppression makes a wise man mad. Give me Zechariah 11 and 5. Oppression makes a wise man mad. That's why we got to learn who we are, man. We got to leave that Christian church alone. Because Christianity teaches you to pray in a doggone detention center. Pray for your enemies. That's what they were doing. The NAACP believes that Jesus is white and we must pray for those that oppress us. The Martin Luther King Jr., whatever the hell that was, Jesus is white, we must pray for them. Pray for them. Nah, we pray for them, but we pray for their destruction.
That's right.
That's what the Israelites pray for. Because that's what Christ prayed for. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. That means destruction.
That's right.
Thy kingdom come, that will be done on earth. That's destruction. That's what we pray for. Destruction. Read that.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 11 and verse 5.
Come on.
Whose possessors slay them.
Possessors slay us. Who are we in a possession of? Nothing. We are the possession.
That's right.
The possessors is our enemies.
Right.
Read it again.
Whose possessors slay them.
Come on.
And hold themselves not guilty.
They steal our stuff. What did they killed the brother animals,
right.
poisoned his dogs, burnt this Black Lives Matter flag, mutilated his animals, gutted them, and then hold themselves not guilty. Oh, that wasn't us. We didn't do nothing. We didn't do anything. So who did it? Because everyone around him is white. He got no black neighbors.
Right.
Read it again.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 11 and verse 5.
Come on.
Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Read.
And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
He that sell them say, blessed be the Lord. See, you understand something? Our oppression is a blessing to the white man. And they pray for us to continue being oppressed. They pray secretly for our oppression to last forever. But little do they know, there is a God. There is a God. Give me the article. Give me the article. We ain't going to go through all of them. How racism has shaped the American farming landscape.
Eater.com. How racism has shaped the American farming landscape. U.S. agriculture today appears to be just as segregated as it was a century ago.
Agriculture is segregated. See, this is the part of oppression that many don't talk about. You barely hear about black farmers being segregated. You hear about the farming industry going down. You hear about white folks losing their farms, but you don't hear about the minority of black folks losing their farms. Watch this. Keep going.
Farming in the United States is...
jump down. I'm sorry. Go down. We're going to skip some of that. There you go. Structural racism.
Structural racism and U.S. agriculture. One exceptional moment occurred in the decades after the Civil War, when freed slaves and their descendants accumulated 19 million acres of land.
Freed slaves accumulated 19 million acres of land. Keep going.
In 1910, 14% of all farm-owned operators were black or African Americans.
1910, it was at 14%. Watch this.
By 2012,
watch this.
However, they comprise,
Just read.
They comprise only 1.5%.
So it went from 14% to 1.5%. How? Keep reading. Watch this. It's going to get worse.
The causes of that decline and today's disparities are rooted in the structural racism that has been part and parcel of the development of modern U.S. agriculture.
U.S. agriculture was built off racism. Built off racism. Your food was built off racism. The food we eat daily on a daily basis was built off of racism. Go ahead.
Not only were Native Americans often violently removed from their homelands.
We know about that. We know about that act. Go ahead.
Which were further segmented by federal laws. But a series of federal homestead acts gave mainly white male settlers and corporations hugely subsidized land.
That subsidized land belonged to the freed slaves. How you go from 19 million acres to now you only have 1.5% of the farming industry that's black? How?
When it was originally your land.
It was originally our land. The white man should have not one decimal a percentage of our land. Not one. This man came over here, stole our land, and said, I'm going to give you a little bit of it. And then, after a while, I'm going to take it from you because you ain't doing it right. I'm going to make it so that you don't succeed so that you can't blame me. I'm going to make it so that you don't succeed, you can't blame me. And also, I'm going to make it so that all your generation of daughters and sons, they don't even learn how to plant a doggone dandelion. I'm going to make sure of that. I'm going to make sure the history of the knowledge of farming is erased from your generation. To the point where we have to go to Walmart. We have to go to Publix. We have to go to King Soopers. We have to go to Whole Foods. They controlled us. Because if we was continue farming, because even in the Bible, we were farmers. There were laws on how to farm. Can't put this seed next to this seed. Got to make sure it's a gap here. This is the season for this. This is the season for this. Oh, the land got to rest. No farming. That's right. The Most High have laws of farming the earth. Esau said, nah, we got to disconnect them completely from their heritage. We got to make sure that they eat what we tell them to eat from their possessor's hand. That's why we look at Esau like he's the greatest of all, because just like a dog, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. That's why people like, no, I ain't that's a good massa. That's a good white man right there. He give us food stamps. He give us WIC. He give us everything we need. Because we got the mentality of an animal. We got the mentality of a pet. Read on. Where we at? Oh, go back to the article. Go back to the article.
Discriminatory laws, such as the California Alien Land Law of 1913, prohibited various people of color from owning land.
So they made a law. Think about it. Go back up. It said 1910, right? Watch this. It says in 1910, 14% of all farm owner operators were black. Go down. In 1913, they made a law prohibiting people of color from owning land. So they went from here, you're free, here's 19 million acres. 1910, 14% of the industry were black. By 1913, they said, whoa, if we keep letting these niggas farm, they only gonna eat from people that look like them. Black folks only gonna eat from black folks. And we know that black folks runs the economy of America. So if we don't stop this right now, these black folks gonna realize they don't need us.
Right. Lose their control. That's heavy.
So they said 3 years later, we gotta make it a law. Give me that what says frame his mischief as a law.
The book of Psalms, chapter 94 and verse 20.
Go ahead.
Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee?
Go ahead.
Which frameth mischief.
Which frameth mischief.
By a law.
By a law. They make it a law that you don't succeed in their world. They make it a law that you can't feed your family. And then when you're crying out for help, they say, nigga, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Then when you do it, you face what our brother Courtney faced. Oh, wait a minute. He's doing it too good. He pulled himself up by his bootstraps too fast. Let's throw a little ranches in there. How in 2 years you got 170 calls of service on your property for other people damaging your property, but you go to jail? How's that possible? Go back to the article. Read that. Discriminatory laws.
Discriminatory laws, such as the California Alien Land Law of 1913, prohibited various people of color from owning land. They were also denied reparations after the abolition of slavery, as well as labor protections like minimum wage, union rights, and Social Security when they worked on farms.
Go ahead.
The government gave unequal funding.
The what?
Unequal funding.
The government gave unequal funding. Watch this.
To land grant universities that serve black and white students.
Go ahead.
And the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
The USDA.
Discriminated against black, Native American, Latinx, and women farmers.
Whoa. Discriminated against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know why? Put me back on the screen. Put me back. I gotta look at the camera for this. The USDA has been discriminating against blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. We didn't write this article, y'all. We didn't write this article. The Bible's a true book. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you are the Israelites.
That's right.
And you are being oppressed in all things. Give me that verse 46. Deuteronomy 28:46.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
The curses shall be upon us for a sign. Read on.
And for a wonder.
And for a wonder.
And upon thy seed.
And upon thy children.
Forever.
God says forever. Forever. We're going to be oppressed. And then we wonder why we sick all the doggone time. Because what they feeding us is food to kill us. The spirit on our food is oppression. Racism, discrimination. The spiritual side of it is evil. That's why everything we eat kills us. And without the word of God, without God and the keeping of the commandments, we are doomed. Don't matter if you're eating nothing but fruits, nothing but vegetables, it don't matter. They trying to kill us in every way possible. Because even the food industry is racism, discrimination. That's why God says, do what I tell you to do. Eat like this. Stay away from all the dainty sweets. Little is sufficient for a man. Leviticus 11, stay away from pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. Right. Do the best you can to eat healthy. Eat your greens. Eat the medicine of the earth. Go into your 1 meal a day. Fast more often, not just for your health, but for your spirit. Exercise. Because the food we eat is killing us. It's dangerous. It's deadly. Because it was all built off of oppression. The spirit of it is off. Go back to the article.
They were also denied reparations after the abolition of slavery, as well as labor protections like minimum wage, union rights, and Social Security when they worked on farms. The government gave unequal funding to land-grant universities that served black and white students.
Slow down.
And the U.S. Department of Agriculture,
USDA,
discriminated against black, Native American, Latinx,
Hispanics,
and women farmers in its lending and other forms of support for decades.
Watch this. Yep, this is the part I won't read that. Watch this, y'all.
Together, this legacy has had profound and lasting impacts to the U.S. food system. As former Leah Penniman pointed out recently,
watch this.
If African American people had been paid $20 per week for our agricultural labor rather than being enslaved,
watch this.
We would have trillions in the bank today.
Damn. Just $20 a week. Just $20 a week. If we were paid $20 a week for agricultural labor, we would all be wealthy. Financially independent. Financially wealthy. Go down. Let me see if I want anything else in there. Go down. All right, that's it. Let's finish these scriptures. Lamentations 4:17. What we're proving to y'all is that farming while black, farming while Hispanic, you see that too a lot. A lot of Hispanics, so-called Hispanics, they can't do nothing but go to the orange fields, go to the sugarcane fields. And they are oppressed out there, man. They working 16-hour days on doggone $10 a week or $10 an hour, some crazy crap like that. With barely bathroom breaks, dying from heat strokes. The wife and the father out there. And the kids. Oppression, man. Go ahead.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 17.
Why you think they be recalling vegetables for what's that? Not salmonella. E. coli, which is feces. That lets you know that these farmers, they ain't got no bathrooms. They can't even wash their hands. It's crap. Make a whole crap. Get back to work. Then they find out, we got to recall everything. Ain't no white folks out there. Right. Those are Israelites out there. Right. Busting their behind. Go ahead.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help.
Go ahead.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation.
We watched for a nation
that could not save us.
These white folks can't save us. The justice system is flawed. We asking for justice for our brother Courtney, right? But yet the same system we asking for justice is a flawed system. It's a system of oppression of the black and Hispanic and Native American man. So ain't nothing we can do but turn to God. Ain't nothing we can do. We can march, we can vote, we can do all this crap. Let's vote the sheriff out. Let's bring in a new sheriff. That means nothing. Read on.
Verse 18. They hunt our steps.
They hunt our steps.
That we cannot go in our streets.
God says we can't even go on our own street. Read on.
Our end is near. Mm-hmm. Our days are fulfilled.
Come on.
For our end is come.
Read.
Our persecutors.
Our possessors. Our slave masters. Go ahead.
Are swifter than the eagles of the heaven.
Are swifter than the eagle. What is this white man's logo, symbol? The eagle. God told you that in these last days, this white man was going to be your possessor. He was going to slay you in the streets. He was going to steal your houses. Right. He was going to make sure that you don't have a say-so in anything political. Make sure that you can't get away from him in anything. Crushed always. Damn. Good. That's it?
No, sir.
Go ahead.
They pursued us upon the mountains. Mm-hmm. They laid wait for us in the wilderness.
That's it? Yes, now jump to, we're going to finish out the scripture. Go to Micah 2 and 2. Go ahead.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 2.
Read.
And they covet fields.
And they do what?
And they covet fields.
That's what they doing with the brother Courtney. They're like, how this nigger all this land out here? They covet field. They did the same thing to God.
Right.
Covet this whole side of the earth. Read.
And take them by violence.
Mass execution.
Yes, sir.
Millions gone. Making laws so that brothers can't farm their own land. Go ahead. Right, just like the treaties.
And houses.
And
take them away. So they oppress a man.
And
his house. Even a man and his heritage.
Hold that. Go to Leviticus. We're going to end off Leviticus. I'm sorry, Deuteronomy 19:14. We can end off that. They oppress a man and his heritage. That brother was trying to build something for his family. 100 acres of land. I think it was 100 acres. 1,000. Good God, 1,000 acres of land. He trying to build for his family. To help, not, you know what's crazy? He had the mindset to help not just his people, but to help the white man.
Because he saw a need.
And that's in us as a people. Right. I'm going to tell you, black folks, black, Hispanic, Native American, it's in us to help people. That's right. It's in us. We was built like that. But what we got to understand is that God says, never trust thine enemy. Right. We was built to help each other. Esau took advantage of that and said, you know what? God says, help everyone. Love thy enemy. Pray for those who persecute you. Obey thy master. Slaves, obey your master. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 19 and verse 14.
Come on.
Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark.
God says, thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark. Go ahead.
Which they of old time have set in thine inheritance.
Thine what?
That they have set in old time in thine inheritance.
We just read in Micah 2:2 that this white man oppressed a man in his what? Heritage. Go ahead.
Which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it.
God says, don't remove a man's landmark. This white man been stealing land since he came out of the womb. So all praise to the Most High. I'm Captain Gaddy to my right.
Soldier Josiah.
And this has been 15 minutes with a captain. Shalom.
What is the nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word